VO in and of itself is not bad any more than food is bad. Too much food is bad, too little food is bad, but food itself isn't bad. And VO is the same. It's a storytelling tool. And just like any tool of storytelling, you have to be wielding it in the right way. Are there people that frown on its use in a screenplay? Well, sure, but if it's working, people are fine with it. So let's talk about 3 ways where using VO is bad so you can avoid them. First use of bad VO, when its only use is to bookend your script. If you've got some VO at the beginning of your script and you've got some VO at the end of your script, but you have no VO anywhere else, you are bookending your script with VO. In other words, you're using VO to cheat. At the beginning, you're using it to tell the reader essential information that you couldn't figure out how else to get across to the audience. And at the end, you're using VO to tell them how to feel about the story now that it's over. But because you didn't end the story in a satisfying way, you feel you have to explain a couple of things and get them out using voiceover, VO. In either case, it screams that you, as a writer, are lazy, can't solve complicated problems, and you don't have any idea how to begin or end your script. But what's worse is you are deceiving the reader. The first 20 pages or so of any screenplay has to do a bunch of things, but one of those things is you are teaching the reader how to read your script. But if you begin with some VO, the reader starts to think, oh, okay, the story is going to have some VO in key places throughout the script. But then you don't. You actually don't have any VO anywhere else until the very end. So you've lied to the reader. You made them expect a story where one of the characters was going to share some important information with the reader to let us in on their thoughts just a little bit more. But nope. You lied, you didn't follow through. So now, not only are you lazy, can't solve problems, and don't have any idea how to begin or end your script, now you're also untrustworthy. And that's an unrecoverable position to be in. Voiceover mistake number 2 is having more than one character give VO. What you're essentially doing is you're saying there is more than one narrator, but there can't be more than one narrative voice. That's a feature of how stories work. Now, I know some of you are going to take this as a challenge to go and research and try to find the 4 or 5 or maybe 20 films that break this kind of guideline and that have multiple narrators. And that's fine if you want to spend your time doing that. And if you want to write a story like that, if you think you can craft a 1 in 20 story out of the hundreds of thousands of scripts and movies that have been made, that's cool. If you want to make the movie yourself, do whatever floats your boat. But I'm telling you that audiences usually don't like those kinds of stories because they are lost the whole time. And audiences don't like feeling lost. They like feeling grounded. Having one character let us in on their thoughts and feelings is great. More than that, the audience starts to get confused about who to listen to. Plus, it's actually a sign that your story is broken. A story is about someone who wants something badly, is having trouble getting it, they get it or they don't. Someone, one person. So they are doing the VO, or one other character is doing the VO, that's fine, but not more than one character doing the VO. Keep your characters in their lane, and the reader will be able to much more easily follow your story. Voiceover mistake number 3, using VO to fix plot holes. If you have a plot hole, no amount of VO is going to fix it. In fact, using VO to try and fix a plot hole often makes the problem worse and even more pronounced, because all of the people who had originally missed the plot hole are now fully aware of its existence because you're trying to explain it away. If you have a plot hole, you have to fix it on a plot level, not by slapping some band-aid across it and hoping no one will notice. Everyone sees it and they 100% notice. And all 3 of these mistakes could be avoided if you focused first on the story. If your story is working, you won't need to slap a VO bookend into your script. If your story is working, you won't have a bunch of different characters using it because you will be using it intentionally and with focus. And if your story is working, you won't have to try and solve plot problems with a VO band-aid. What you have to be doing as a screenwriter is first building out the story. Then you can figure out how to tell that story. And if you feel using VO is something that will help you tell the story, then you'll use it intentionally and in a way that positively impacts the telling of the story. But if you're writing and suddenly think, you're just writing along and suddenly think like, I should do some VO here. Okay, that's never a good sign. You should know you're going to use VO before you start scripting. And if you don't know, you should think twice, maybe like 17 times about using it. So if you don't know what story is, you need to learn. And if you need a place to start, the complete guide to story structure is linked below. Less than 2 coffees at your favorite coffee shop, and it'll make your stories much better than any amount of coffee can, I promise. If you found value, fun buttons, there are links below for the complete guide to story structure and some other things that may be helpful to you on your screenwriting journey. And here's a couple of videos you might find helpful. So when you tell a story, only use VO if you really need to use it. And it will make your storytelling experience better if you're using it the right way. And tell a story that matters. See you later.